Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Welcome. Welcome to my craft room. How is everybody doing today? My name is, you guys know who I am. Good morning, Pamela from North Central Florida. Nice weather down there. So my name is Tina Bigford. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, located in the U.S. in the Northeast, southern New Hampshire, where it is cold and rainy again, and probably again tomorrow. A little bit of snow tomorrow, a little bit, not much, coating to an inch, not too bad. And Tuesday, a little bit of rain. Good morning, Louise. Good morning, Mom. Morning, Dad. So we are supposed to get some good weather on Wednesday, which is good because, good morning, Ken. Do you have your packet ready? Okay. Good morning, Lisa from North Carolina, and Judy Dawson from Alberta, Canada. Welcome. My daughter actually lived in Calgary, Alberta, Canada for a few years. She just moved to back to the States last year. Nice. Good morning, Luann. Oh my goodness. I hope you are feeling better. Oh, allergies. So, how's everybody doing? I have my laptop camera, the webcam on my laptop, I always have it mirrored. So I think when you guys watch my previous videos, these two, like my stuff is opposite. But I'm wearing a shirt that actually says something. So when I had my mirror, my camera the other way mirrored, it was backwards and it was driving me nuts. So I don't know. I just flipped it. So I hope you guys are okay with all that. You guys don't care about this camera anyway, because you're going to care about what's on the desk. Yeah, you're in Calgary. Yeah, I mean, Calgary is huge, right? It's 4 quadrants and it's like, millions of people. But excellent. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, I am still working on the project sheet for this card, but I'll have that up before the end of the day today, and the description in the video and all of that. But just before I flip to the desk cam, you can follow me on Facebook. There will be a link in the description if you don't already follow me. It is the Tatted Stamper on Facebook. Also, I have a Pinterest board. I would love, love, love it if you guys joined my Pinterest board and showed your cards that you make based off of my videos. So I like to see the cards that you guys are making that I'm inspiring you to make. So feeds my ego a little bit. All right, so let's switch down to the desk camera here. Like so. Here we are. Cool, cool. All right. So I'm actually pulling out an old fun fold for today. I was going through, hold on one second. I have this scrapbook that I had all kinds of, let me open it all up. I have all kinds of instructions on how to do fun folds, and I had this tucked away and I've pulled it out, and I'm just kind of pulling out all kinds of, older fun folds. So this one is, what is this one called? A pillar pop-out card. I think this is the, and I don't know where that name came from, and I could not tell you for the life of me who the original designer is of this fun fold, because it's from a few years ago. So let me get started first telling you about the products we're going to use. So I just got this. This is a new online exclusive, meant to be. It's, you make little bees with it. Look at all of the fun faces. Look at the cute little faces and the antenna. Oh, cute, cute, cute. Cute as can be. This is the one that I showed you guys last week, those dies, the hexagon dies. Super cute. Love those. I love nested dies. I just love them. So, as you can cut out all of the different things, the flowers and the wings, and there's some words in here, our hive. So this stamp set, I think, is really, the bundle is really more geared towards scrapbooking, but I wanted to play with these dies. And we're actually going to be using, I used these dies here. I think I used the smaller, maybe I used the bigger one. I'm not sure for this one, but these are little bee bodies and then the bee wings. So we're going to use those. But I also pulled out for a little surprise, I pulled out my painted lavender dies, and I'm going to use one little die. Now, these are all flowers. These are flower dies here. All of these, some of my favorites. These are well used and well loved, but I'm going to use one of these. Now, this is supposed to cut out, this is supposed to die cut flowers, but I'm going to use this little one right here. This one. Yeah. Let me see. All right. Welcome, Susan, from Texas. It's cold in Texas. You guys are always warm down there. So I've already die cut a lot of these things just to kind of save a little bit of time, but we're going to do that, and I showed you that. Now I did pull out my Fields in Bloom. I just wanted to use this stamp here for the back of the card. So I pulled this one out. This is actually on the last chance list. So that one is retiring. We are making an Easter card, so I'm pulling out my storybook friends, but I'm only doing this so that I can get to this stamp here, the Easter greetings. That's all I want out of there. And last but not least, my stressed tile 3D embossing folder. Brand new to me. So I'm going to just set all that aside. I did a lot of this cutting ahead of time so that we could have it. So I will just go over these parts and pieces with you. So our card base is 5.5 by 9. And we are going to score that. Let's score this while I have this out. I'm going to need my little arm. This extends out to just over 17 inches, which is awesome. All right, so we're going to score. Our light gray blade is our scoring blade, and the dark gray blade is the cutting blade. Both of them have just a little mark on the side, on each side, so you can see it's on each side, so that you can see exactly where the blade is. So when you're lining it up on this this ruler here on the track, you can see exactly where your blade is going to hit and cut. Okay. So I'm just going to move the cutting blade out of the way because I don't want, because I was making one of my alternates and I cut instead of scored. So along the 9-inch side, we're going to score at 2 1/8, 4 1/4. We're going to score at 6 3/8. Now that mark on here is a little bit hard to see, but it's right where the white and the gray meet here on this arm. So I'm going to just put that right there. 6 3/8. And then last one, we're going to score at 8 1/2. Okay, set that aside. And we are going to fold and burnish these. So, good morning, Aunt Judy. Thank you for joining today. I haven't seen you on in a while. Okay, so we're gonna fold and burnish. So you can use your thumbnail. You can use whatever you want. You can use the handle of your scissors. I'm using my bone folder just to give this a good burnish. And I'm just going to, all of these folds are mountain folds. And what I mean by that is they form a mountain this way. So we're actually going to be forming, like, it's a column. So I'm going to do this one now. And then the little 1/2 inch section here. Okay. And then we are going to put, I'm going to put tear and tape on this little 1/2 inch section here. This part of the card will take quite a bit of, there's quite a bit of movement going on. So I don't want it to come apart. I'm just going to put my tear and tape on there. I give it a nice burnish. And when you're lifting tear and tape, so now there's all kinds of different double-sided tapes. There's one that has like a red backing to it. There's all kinds of them. This same technique will work for all of them. I'm just going to, let me zoom in just really quick so you can actually see how I do this. All right, so here is the tear and tape here. Now I'm going to use my take your pick tool, or I normally use my take your pick tool, but you can use anything. What you don't want to do, you don't want to try to pick this up at the end. You want to loosen it from the side. So I just take my take your pick tool and I just run it lightly along the edge until it picks it up. Not everybody has a take your pick tool. So I'm just going to use my fingernail and I'm just going to come in and just lift up on the side, and it's just enough to lift that up, and that release paper comes right off. If you try to pick on the side, sometimes you'll like pick up the end of the tape and it'll come off. So we don't want to do that. So let me zoom back out. Okay. And, oh my goodness. So we have, all right. Jay Jones has joined us from Southwest Minnesota. And Sherry, from the beach in Florida. Where I wish I was. Okay, so I'm just going to now fold this little 1/2 inch section in. And then I'm going to fold this card right in half over it. So I'm going to fold on this second score line here. And I'm just going to, and those edges should meet. And I'm just going to press down on that. And now we have a column. Okay. Cool. Now, I liked to move my card in both directions like this and give nice, just press down on all of those and really work those so that this card will move very nicely. I am keeping note. I just want to make sure I notice exactly where that seam is. I want that seam to be on the side, but I want it to be so that the front that I folded over to hit that 1/2 inch section, I want that to be on the front. Okay. All right. So our next pieces, we have 2 small pieces here. These are 2 inches by 1 inch. And I scored mine halfway. So just grab these again. I'm going to line them both up here. And the nice thing about this trimmer too is because you have 1.5 inches over here, I can just position this right in between those 2 1-inch marks, and I know I have it. And I'm going to score these both at the same time. So I'm going to press that down. I'm going to hold pressure down here on this track to keep my paper in place, my cardstock in place, and give that a good score. Move that. And then these are just same thing. These are folded mountain. So when you score, you have an indented side and you have a side that is raised. You're always going to fold towards the raised side. Okay. Now I know that gets a little bit, it gets a little wonky when you're doing like mountain and valley folds. A lot of the time, when I'm making a card and I'm not demonstrating it, I will flip the card back and forth because I know which way my fold is going to be. So I'll score all of my mountain folds and then I'll flip the cardstock over and do the valley folds so that I am always folding towards that raised side. Okay. So we have our little pieces, and we're going to put some adhesive on here. So I'm going to put, for right now, I'm just going to put adhesive on one side of this. If you have, if you have, yours has tear and tape on it. Yours has tear and tape on both sides. Just remove the release paper from the backing paper from one side on both pieces. We'll remove that other. All right. So I'm checking to make sure I know where that seam is. It's right here. And then I'm going to take this, folded this way. So folded like this. And I'm going to line this score mark right up with this score mark here. And I'm going to do this somewhere in the center of my card. So I want it to be right up against that score line. And you want to get this, your score line of your small 1x2 piece nice and straight along that score line in the center of your card. Now we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to fold this flap back. This one's going to fold this way so that the score line is here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just butt that right up against there. Now I'm leaving just the tiniest fraction of a space between these two. It's literally the width of that score line. And I'm just going to do that. So now you should have this like so. Yay. All right. And oh, Sherry is from East Tennessee. Oh, you guys are getting some weather down there, aren't you? Okay. Next pieces we have here. Make sure I have everything here. I've got 2 pieces of designer series paper. Now, when you're cutting your designer series paper for this card, you're basically going to be, so we're going to be putting these pieces basically on here like this. So when you cut from your designer series paper, if you have a continuous patterned paper, or if you have a directional paper, you're going to want to be very aware of that when you're cutting your DSP. You do not want to cut a long strip all the way down and then cut it in half. You're going to want to cut this piece, solid piece like this, and then cut it in half. Okay. So that said, each one of these pieces measures, and this is a wonky measurement. So each one is going to be 5 1/4 inch long, which is not the wonky. This width of this is going to be 1 15/16. I know it's a weird measurement. I want to show you. So when this is together, so you're also going to want to make sure, I wanted to mention this, make sure that when you have these, when you cut these, that you know which side is the right side and the left side so that you don't mix your pattern. And you obviously want to make sure that that you have them both right side up. So when we adhere these down, we're going to be looking for equal spacing around 3 sides. And we're going to leave a white space in the middle. If we were to cut these so that they fit with even spacing around all of the, within the 2 1/8 inch by 5 1/2 inch panel, then you would have a really wide space in the middle. And I made some like that and I just didn't like it. So when we put these on, we're going to have the equal spacing around all the sides. And we're going to have, so it's that 1/8 inch around all the sides. And we're going to end up with a 1/8 inch down the center. To me, it was just symmetrical and it was more pleasing to my eye. So that's why the dimensions. You cut these as wide as you want. So if you want these to be a little bit narrower so that you've got a wider strip going down the middle, you do you. All right. So I now know which one's my right and which one's my left. I matched them up so that I know I can see. It's hard to see on this, but this little flower here, and I can see this little flower here. So I know I've got the right sides here. I'm just going to set them aside. And I found it easiest to turn my card this way. I'm going to just add adhesive to my DSP. And in order to get that equal spacing around the three sides that I mentioned, I take this one right out of my vision altogether. So I'm just looking like this at equal spacing here, here, and at the top. And it's going to land where it needs to in that center, like so. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on our other piece of designer series paper. And I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah, raining again in East Tennessee. Yeah, you guys are getting some weather down there. Okay. I just turned it around. I'm making sure that my pattern is right side up. And I'm just coming in here and the same thing. Equal spacing, top and both sides. And I'm not paying attention to what the spacing is in the middle there, because it's going to be equal. Okay, so your flaps, these two flaps should be on the outside, and the rest of the mechanism that's going to pop this out is hidden under the DSP. Okay, so there we have those. Flatten those out. All right, so then we have, I cut out of the Misty Moonlight, I cut one of my hexagons, and then I cut one out of the white, just the nested one. I just came down a little bit smaller. So I'm actually going to emboss my white one. I'm not going to emboss the blue one, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on. So right here, I'm going to put adhesive on these two 1 inch by 1 inch pieces, like so. Or if you have tear and tape on yours, take that release paper off. And then I'm going to put my hexagon on. Now you can put this on any way you want. You can put it with a point up top. I liked mine with a flat up top. I am equal spacing from side to side. And I'm just going to press down where those are, like that. Now, when I open that card, that front panel pops out. Okay. Yay. All right. Now, I am going to, oh, you know what? I did forget to cut 2 white panels for the back. So I will be doing that too. All right, so I'm going to grab my embossing folder. Move those little pieces out of the way before I lose them. I'm going to bring my white piece in, and I have this, the Distressed Tile 3D embossing folder. It's really cool because it's, when you look at it, it's actually got very distinct embossing, and then it looks like it's missing some. All supposed to be like that. So I'm just going to decide where I want that design to be, and I'm going to put that in. Grab my embossing machine. Now to do the embossing, this is a 3D embossing folder. So to do that, I'm just using my base plate 1 and my embossing plate 4. All of that is actually diagrammed perfectly right on this base plate for you. So base plate, embossing folder, I'm putting the embossing folder in folded edge first. If you have an embossing folder that is small enough and can go in this way with the folded edge on the side, that works okay too. Just don't put the open end in first. Okay, put my plate on, and then we're just going to roll that through. Nice and easy. Move that out of the way. And then pull this out. And we have this. See, it looks like it's missing that embossing right there. It's so cute. I like it. Okay. Move that out of the way. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put that on. So I'm just going to use my seal, my Stampin' seal, and I'm just going to layer that piece right on there. Like so. Then I need to cut two white pieces. So move this out of the way. So the white pieces I have, now I have a white card base. So do I need to do this? No, I don't, but I liked the look of having that added layer. And it gave me some flexibility if I did, if I did for some reason stamp wonky on my cardstock, I can just flip it over. I didn't have to, ruin a whole card base. So I'm going to cut this at 5 1/4. And then I'm going to come in with the same 1 15/16. And I'm going to cut 2 of those. So 15/16 on this trimmer is just that mark right before the 2-inch mark. But you guys know that. There. That. Then I'm going to just come in with my storybook and my Easter greetings. And I'm just letting that, I've got it flipped, so that the words are down. I can read the words. And I'm just going to let it do its thing and pick it up. Bring in my Misty Moonlight. So I don't think I mentioned the paper that I'm using is it's the Countryside Inn, I think, designer series paper. I'm just going to stamp Easter greetings on that one. I like this stamp set when I'm in the mood to color for all of the other stuff. I'm not in the mood to color today, so we're just going to do stuff. So now I'm taking the the stems and the leaves portion of that, and I'm just going to come in here, and I'm just using one color, Misty Moonlight. That's all I'm doing. And on this side, I'm just going to come in at a little bit of an angle, like so. And then I'm going to grab the flowers that are in there. And for the flowers, I'm going to stamp off so that I get, because I want to use the Misty Moonlight, I'm just using one color ink, but I'm going to show you how you're going to get a variation of color by just using one ink. So I'm just going to come in, stamp that full strength, stamp that off on a Post-it, and then come on over here and put that, stamp that right on there. And now I have a lighter flower. And I only used one ink pad, and I got 2 colors out of that. Now what's great too, if you're doing where you're stamping off, you could actually stamp off on a piece of cardstock that you were going to use for another project. So you're not wasting that ink on a Post-it. All right, so while this is still relatively flat, we're going to put the back on, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to take my adhesive and put it on the back of one of these panels, and it doesn't matter the way that I have these, the way that I stamped them, it doesn't matter which way you put them, you can put them either way. I like having the Easter greetings on the left side and the other panel on the right. So I'm just going to come in, do the same thing sideways, hold that down with my pinkies, and come in and just even spacing on those 3 sides. And it will be a little bit closer to that middle. That's what I want. When you guys do yours, if you want yours to be a little bit different, just trim these panels a little bit and make them. So at this point, I do want to check. I wanted to check before, and I did, but I didn't tell you I was checking to make sure my pattern paper is upright and I'm flipping it over so that my panels on the back will also be upright. So this is going to go this way. And the same thing, a nice even spacing, like so. And then we're going to do some fun stuff. Yay. All right. So I am going to, oh, let's do these first. All right. I just cut 2 little pieces here. I wanted to bring that designer series paper look on the back. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on both of these and get it a little bit on my workspace. And I'm just going to come up here on each of these panels. Oops. And I'm just going to put this up at the top. And I'm just centering it, kind of, you know, centering it. That one's off a little bit. It's crooked. I'll fix it. Just kind of put them up at the top. Just brings that in a little bit. Oh my goodness. Look, that one's upside down. Can you guys see that? The little bunny is upside down, his feet. I can't have that. So there we go. More crooked. Sheesh. All right, there. So that just brings a little bit of that designer series paper to the back, like that. Yay. Okay. Now, the dies that I told you we were using out of the meant to be dies. All I did was I just cut out of some gray cardstock the wings and the small bee. Now I did trim off at the bottom, I did trim off the little point for the bee stinger because what we're making is not a bee. We are making a bunny. So I'm going to grab my glue dots. These are glue dots that actually came from one of the kits that you can buy from Stampin' Up. And I am just using them for other projects because they give you a ton of them. So I'm just putting some of those, a little glue dot on each one of those ends there, like so. Peel those backings off. And if you have fingernails, you can just, they fall off, these ones fall off pretty easily, like that, like so. And then I just want to check to make sure that the little end that I cut off here, the little pointer that I cut off, I want that to be on the bottom. So this one here, I'm going to put this so that those glue dots are on the back of that circle like that. And then I'm going to take that little die that I used from the painted lavender that is supposed to be a flower, and I'm going to put a small mini dimensional on the back there. Oh my goodness, that didn't work out so well for me. Stuck to my finger and not to the paper. Okay, so let me just grab that. Put that on the back. Peel that release paper off. And we're going to put the little fluff cottontail on the back of our bunny. How cute is that? Cute, cute, cute. Okay, so let's see. Move that. So now we're going to put our bunny on. This is the last step. So I'm just going to put, I'll just use my mini dimensionals. So I'm going to just flip him over. Now this is not, I actually saw this, this is another demonstrator actually did this with the bee dies. This is not my original idea. I am casing this part, although I don't remember what she used for the tail, I will say that. And I'm going to put that right there, and we'll peel those little backing papers off. And this is, I think, I'm really loving this, like going back and doing all of these these older like fun folds. They're so cool. All right, so we're just gonna put our bunny right on there. Now, if you wanted, before you put your bunny on, if you wanted to kind of curl his ears back, you could curl his ears back a little bit. You can do it now. I'm doing it. You can just kind of curl his ears back a little bit like that. And there he is. Bam, our little bunny. And our Easter greetings, like so. And then it stands for display. It's hard to see there. It stands for display with that pop out on the front. And this is one you could sign it up here, you could sign it down here, just anywhere on the back is where I would sign that. So there, how cute is that? Our little Easter card, and super fun and quick. I mean, that was quick. We're only 36 minutes or 38 minutes into this, 36, whatever, into this video, and our card is already done. So how quick does that go? Of course, I suppose I did die cut everything ahead of time. So I want to show you some other samples that I did. So in that meant to be stamp set in that bundle, it also, you get some, you can buy the paper also that goes with this packet of 12 by 12 designer series paper. How cute is that be? So I did the same thing here. What I did with this layered hexagon is I actually glued both hexagons together, and then I ran it through a die, an embossing folder. So this one is this is not a Stampin' Up! Embossing folder. It's an old Cuttlebug one. So I thought that was kind of cute. I did the wings out of the pool party, stamped the bee with his little, I die cut him off a little bit, but put his little antenna on there. And then on the back, I put, while these two were together, I cut them to the right width so that I knew that I would have them. And then I pushed them together, kept them together, and I stamped my little flight trail, my little flight path here, and then stamped the butterfly on one of the panels. So you could, write down here if you want. There's that one. So same thing, kind of stands right out like that. Yay. Like that. And then you're not limited to just, simple shapes. You can do whatever shape you want. This one I did using that Marbled Elegance Designer Series paper, which has that really gorgeous gold veining in there, and just put a heart on there so the heart pops out. And on the back, I did the same thing. I made it look like it was, kind of spilling over onto the second panel there. So there's that one. Pop those up a little bit, like so. And then I did just a plain one. And this one, this is one of the ones that I was kind of playing with. This is one where I just cut the Designer Series paper too wide, and I didn't have enough of a border around all of the sides. So that's how this one came to be. This is a very old stamp set from Stampin' Up! In the back, but the same thing, it just pops out there. It's just a square pops out. There's that one. And then this one, which is the one that I was working on. So I just took the birdhouse. This is from the Country Birdhouse stamp set and dies. And I don't remember the name of the paper. And I just put the birdhouse. And then for the back, instead of doing two panels the same, I actually did a panel in the same color cardstock as the card base, and then just did one panel for signing. Really super simple, like that. So those are the cards. Those are all my cards. How cute is that? This is the most adorable little Easter card, honestly. And I love that it stands for display. I love how easy it is. Now you do only get, this is not a cardstock saver kind of a card. You do only get one card out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, but It's a cute card. It's a beautiful card. You can do lots of stuff. And this is actually a really good way too of using up, maybe you have some scrap designer series paper that is not not directional. Like the back side of this paper has stripes on it. So you can use up scraps of paper on this one here. This one's hard to tell, especially since I have such a big element on the front. But these two pieces of designer series paper, I actually swapped them. It is a continuous pattern, but I swapped them. So this right here is actually the back of this bird. The reason I did that is I was using the Lemon Lolly cardstock, and I wanted the yellow from the chest on these birds to show. So if I had flip-flopped them, this guy would have shown up here just barely, and this guy would have been hidden behind the birdhouse. So I just flip-flopped them, and you can't tell. So there is that. Fun, fun, fun. Fun fold. And there it is. So let me just, Flight and Airy. Yeah, I was thinking it was, you know what, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out because I have it right here. This one is called, yeah, it's called the Flight and Airy. And it's got all kinds of, it's got some really gorgeous colors in it. Pinks and blues. Gorgeous, gorgeous. That's the Flight and Airy. And that country, this one here that we used is the, what do they call it? Countryside Inn. So you can see the back, this is the cardstock, I mean the DSP that we used. The other side is just stripes. So if you had like cut half here, you know, a long panel here, you certainly could put those side by side. You wouldn't know. It's another gorgeous, I love these blues. I love these blues. The Night of Navy, Misty Moonlight, gorgeous, gorgeous. Gorgeous papers. I love designer series paper. Yay. So there they are. There they are. All those. And hi, Lynn from Southern New Jersey. Thank you for joining. Let me flip back to the laptop, the webcam. Here I am. Woo! All right. So that's a card. Quick, easy, simple. You can really get crazy with your designer series paper and your colors. You know, you can use up your scraps. You can use up like little small pieces of cardstock for that element on the front. You can you just kind of make it your own. So I'll have the description of this video. I'll have everything listed in the description of this video that I used in today's demonstration. I will have the link to the project sheet in there later today because I'm still working on that. Yeah, so I hope you guys loved this card. I hope you make this card, and I hope you share your version of this card on my Pinterest board. I would love to see all of your cards. So I will be back. So Wednesday night, I'm going to have to play Wednesday by ear. So yesterday, I was doing laundry, and my dryer made a big bang and stopped. So yeah, long story short, I have a new washer and dryer coming on Wednesday. So I'm hoping that will get that'll be done, and you know, long before I have a video. So I'm hoping that I'm planning on being back Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, I hope you all enjoy what's left of your weekend. And I hope that you all have better weather than we do. And I will see you all on